Welcome to Role-Playing Eldoria and our love of storytelling. Just a quick recap of last session. The party had spent a long time investigating the farm, looking at wells, looking at flowers, thinking about contracts, and they finally decided they've exhausted all avenues and are coming back to the Tipsy Tinker to see what else they can find. Watch out for the Justicator's amazing questioning techniques.
Everyone's kind of going up. Again, the day's running cold and brisk but clear. There's no snow falling today, and eventually, after about just under an hour, you make your way up the Sorrel Valley to the ridge lines and more elevated places where the Tipsy Tinker is overlooking the valley. You can see down at the mountains on the mountain ridge on one side that there's a lot of mist rising in the air. That comes from the hot springs down by Lake Greyshale that permeate the area.
The valley that the ex-thief mentioned is in what direction?
Farwick Valley is west. No, it's actually north.
By northwest?
Could be northwestish.
It's north by northwest.
And that's, okay, you've got a large ridge line that goes along there in basically the northwest, and somewhere over that it descends into the Farwick Valley, which is nearby to the Sorrel Valley. Hey, Nellie's there greeting you. They're saying, "What's going on?" She says, "There's been murder at Patar's farm. We've put the body down in the basement."
Patar's body?
Yeah.
You go liaise with the leprechaun. I don't want to have anything to do with him.
And basically, they brought the kids from the farm up there as well, so they're all chatting with Mylan, their friend, when they're up there by the fire. Sharnay is there basically with Glonding at the moment, and there's a couple of other farmers since the snow's let up this morning having a meal.
Is Nellie related to Camilla?
No, she's human. She's not Fae. Yeah.
Okay.
She's the person who gets on most with the Fae in the area.
Could you intercede with Camillo? We have a question with regards to rock.
Oh, keep your riches away. Camello's got a bit of light fingers.
Well, it is as it is.
But certainly he's got an eye for gemstones and gold and silver and things like that.
Well, it's a rock that I have no knowledge of. We found a seam of it near the murder site. We're wondering if it's significant, because otherwise we don't know. Well,
she says that the Fae folk are happiest in the back garden. Let me go and find where Camillo is at the moment, and then I'll arrange a meeting with him.
Right. So I want to get a room.
Yeah. Oh, you're moving for a room?
I want to interview the lads separately.
You want to use your room?
I can use my room.
Or do you want to use one of the private, bar rooms?
Yeah, yes, yeah.
Okay, so downstairs.
Okay,
they give you basically the first one that's down there. You see it's basically, the kitchens are nearby. Then down from there, there's basically an alcove that goes in that's got a table that can take at least 8 people at it. And it's got painting at one end of the wall of people in the painting. It's got a small table where along one side of the wall where there's cups and trays and things there at the moment. Small box of coloured, small colourful box, and some brass mugs that are ornately carved with Fae symbols all around them as well.
Okay.
But you've got a head of that. You can sit there, and it's quite nice. And you could actually draw a heavy leather curtain if you want some more privacy as well.
I basically want to interview them. I'll run through the same.
A list to interview? Okay.
I'll run through the same thing. Basically, I'll ask them whether they want anything to eat or drink.
The people who are coming?
No, the lads.
Okay, right.
Them individually.
Nellie said she'll rustle up some things pretty hard at the moment because most of their food comes from the Farwick Valley now. The farms have been closing down this year. But what she's looking at, is we've got some duck and some bread, cold duck and bread. Right. You can always get Viridian duck down at the Lake Greysham. So she's got a few ducks.
So I asked the lads if they want anything to eat and drink.
Oh,
when
yeah.
they come in.
They're going to have some bread and cold duck.
Right. And then
And some wishy-washy beer.
I basically want to know
Small beer.
when they started working for what you call it.
Yeah.
Okay, so that's your deal. I'll just check what these guys are doing, what you're going to look, what you're waiting for.
I've got a tankard of whatever, of the stout, I think it was, and I'm just waiting to hear back from Nellie.
Just see Camelo. And anything that the halfling wants to do.
I'm going to go into
Sing. You
little,
want to sing?
the little garden in the
At the back?
courtyard,
Yep.
and to see if there's any plants that would have those kind of flowers that we saw at the farm.
When you go to the back courtyard, I'll just describe it for you, and then I'll go back to Mal.
Just let us go. Not that there's much
And
like
then I'll
the
tell you when I
flowers.
go to you anything you see happening in the main drag. The public, you've been out there once because the public bathhouse is in the back garden. Okay, the garden is an extension of the inn itself. It's been divided into 3 distinctive sections. 2 are vegetable patches. The only thing growing in the patches are core shell berries at the moment that grow in winter. They're a golden berry, often used to sweeten tark and things like that. There are 4 large planter boxes on the back patio containing kitchen herbs. Some of those herbs are alive, but the tomato bush is dead at the moment. The garden beds have been fenced off with a series of wattle aging. The garden plants are set back 30 feet from the rear wall of the inn. There's a stone wall going round with a small gate that opens beyond that. There is a large oak tree situated about 40 feet beyond the back wall. And there is a second smaller oak nearby, next to which is a bird bath. So you can see the bird bath through the gate outside amongst the trees. There's a small stone table and some wooden bench chairs sitting near the back gate, but inside the garden within the wall. And to one side is the stone bathhouse that you saw with cobbles going to the back door of the inn. So basically these big planters of herbs, nothing much is growing except for core shell berries and some herbs at the moment.
Didn't think there would be much luck.
And the bird bath is carved. It has a thick upright and a wide circular basin. The upright features the image of an old man, while the circumference of the basin is carved with flowers. Usually there are small plates and bowls you can see sit there upon the basin, which are holding grain and things, and you can see some birds coming and taking that, some winter birds.
Yeah. I guess I'll go up to the basin to see if I can recognise the flowers on the outside.
They seem to be some kind of lily that's carved around there, but very ornate the way they're not represented exactly what they're more decorative in their design.
And not the same,
And on occasion there's a bird, get some seed and bugger off.
but not the same type of flower as the ones we saw in the farmhouse.
No, you reckon the ones that you saw there were probably something like little pansies or something like that. So you're just hanging around. It's still cold and chilly out there in the back garden.
How big are these flowers that he's talking about? How big were they?
Little tiny,
Like the size of an edelweiss?
little tiny ones like that.
Like an edelweiss.
Yeah.
If I can sign it, there's nothing.
Right, just make a perception check at 20 while out the back.
Oh, what am I not fancy?
No, you just look
Too
around,
focused on
flowers, things like that, yeah. Okay, Glonding is laughing and talking to Charnay, who comes up to see you. She heard there's some exciting news down the valley, a murder. Glonding is interested, right, in perhaps if you tell him that, because he always likes to write songs and things.
Well, we might discuss that later. At the moment, I'm waiting on somebody for a meeting.
Bugger off, Glonding. He goes away, and you can see there's a girl, Farlene has come to meet with Charnay, and they're over near the little small stage area. And while the time was away, she seems to be practicing dance moves with Charnay, just showing her how to do dances and things like that. Meanwhile, Mal's doing his interviews. So you're interviewing the 3 guys who are on the farm.
Yes, separately.
The first one is Mylan. He's the one who came up to say trouble at mill.
Basically, I want to find out when you started working for Nerrigan,
Just over a year.
were you involved with making the liquor?
I was no good at making it, but I was the person, I put the labels on.
Who makes it?
Who makes it? Well, there's basically Master Narradin showed a guy called Bantha.
And Bantha comes and makes it?
He comes up from time to time and makes batches of it, yeah.
And where's Bantha from?
Bantha's from the big cities. Not sure exactly where, but he looks posh.
When was the last time Bantha was there?
Bantha came up about 2 Marches ago, before the winter snows set in,
So,
to make a last batch.
so he's the only one that makes it,
He made it and said it's got to settle for another March and then he'd be coming up.
and he never came back.
Hasn't come yet. Was going to come up after the snows.
Right.
He often discusses this. We overhears him talking to Master Narradin. God bless him.
They've only just started making it since you were employed?
They've been making it for ever since I've been employed. Yeah, it was already set up. The still and everything when he turned up to start working there about a year ago. He was told this is besides looking after the chickens and helping wind the farm down. He also basically going to help make this stuff, and I wasn't very good at it, so they put me on label duty.
What did you hear the night that your master was killed?
Well, I was sleeping there because, well, Tal and Moran, they've got some girls there and they said they were going to stay overnight because of the snow and that with them over in the Fenwick Valley. He looked after the place and then he's waiting. He's been, the master had been through earlier in the day and so I'd made up his bed for him and things like that. And then I was just waiting for him to come in and then I heard there was some commotion there and as in all the light was on and things like that in the kitchen. So I basically went over there to see if he needed any food made and I met him there and then I put some stew on for him that we'd made for ourselves the night before and it was still pretty good stew, so I put it on for him. He said he'd have it. And then I went back to the barn and then when I came back to serve the stew, he was dead.
But didn't you say you heard noise?
Yeah, well, that's why I came over first, the second time to come and put the stew out, right? That I heard some noise, so I thought that was Master calling out, he's ready to be served. And when I went there, though, it wasn't him, and there was someone else was about the farm because there was something happening over by the other where they make the drinks. There was some people there.
How many people?
Don't know, but there was shadows in there.
So did you hear voices?
No, but I heard they were moving stuff around. And that's when I went to alert the master that someone was there, and then I found him dead.
So the people were still in the barn when you found your master?
Yeah.
Oh, that's different to what I thought. Yeah. And when you found your master, what did you do?
Well, I tried to help him and that and get him out, but then there was blood all over me, so I ran up to the Tipsy Tinker.
So you ran straight from the house?
The Tipsy
up to
Tinker,
the
yeah.
Tipsy Tinker. Did you look back to the barn?
No,
No.
I just ran. I was scared.
Right. Was there lights in the barn?
I think. Can't remember. I just ran. I had a lantern on when I was in my barn where we sleep. But I can't remember if there was, well, no. When I came across, definitely there wasn't lights on. But I can't remember if I left when there was lights on. But when I originally put the stew on for the master, there was no lights on there.
But when you went across to check to your master and you said there were shadows in the barn,
Yeah.
was there a
Well,
light?
I can't remember, but it was pretty, there was some breaks in the clouds with the moon and things like that.
Okay.
But certainly, definitely there was noise in the barn.
So I'll get him put in a separate room from the others, and I'll bring the others.
Okay, there are 3 other private areas if you want to put them in them.
Yeah, so I'll keep him separated from the other 2.
Mm-hmm.
So I'll get one of the other 2 in, and I'll basically ask the same questions about the setup. How long?
Tal seems to be preoccupied with food. What else? Other food you got? Because he's a bit hungry.
Well, I give him food to eat, and then I ask him questions.
Any particular different question? He basically seems to just talk about that. When we met the master in the morning and found that the master seemed to be going to go up to Tipsy Tinker for the rest of the day. We didn't think he was coming back, so we decided we were going to go and see our girls over in the Fenwick Valley.
Yeah. When did you start working for him?
Oh, you working for him, or
before or after Milan?
Or just before Milan.
When did they start making the Black Dragon venom?
Oh, we started making that for about a year ago.
So you were there when they started it?
Yeah, talked to the guy. He's very nice, I thought.
Was Milan there when you started it?
Milan was there, but he's a bit useless. We made him make labels.
He helped you set up the start?
Yep.
Who actually makes the Black Dragon venom?
Well, it was basically made we were making it from we know a bit more because no one wants Miley, just does labels. But it's been made for the Three Ravens. It's a pub in Colchester.
Who?
Mr. Banther.
Mr. Banther. And where's Mr. Banther from?
He's from Colchester.
When was the last time he was here?
Oh, he was here a bit before the snows. Just to organise the first batch to go down to Colchester.
Is this the first batch that's been made?
We've been making it for a while, we haven't got it right. But this is the first batch that basically said just before, this is right, let it rest.
What happened to the other batches?
They just broke them up. Poured it down the well.
Which well?
The old broken one. I'm not going to put it down the good water well. We're not stupid.
So, when he was down the well, did he see any? He didn't mention anything about
broken pots
or anything.
No, they just poured the stuff down, I think.
Oh,
yeah.
Right. Okay.
And then they basically just reused the bottles.
Oh, okay.
But he does know that that Banther is from the Three Ravens at Colchester.
Do you know anything about this purple rock that's at the well?
Only that Master Narradin has talked to people a lot about it. There's a big fancy man who used to come up from the city. Been up here a few times.
To pick the rock up?
Yeah, pick the rock up, and he has meetings with the gentlemen farmers.
So you don't know what the rock's for?
No, but they seem to talk about it a lot. They used to ask me to go and get chunks to bring into the meeting. Sometimes the meetings were here on the farm, but other times they're up at the Tipsy Tinker.
Okay. So when Banther came up to do the thing, was anyone with him? Or is he by himself?
Oh, Banther sometimes came with two other men who were his manservants. He often came in better weather. They come up with a coach from...
This gentleman with the rock that was talking to your master about the rock, right? Do you know his name at all?
Let's see if he knows his name. Oh, I think they called him Mr. Wayne or something like that.
Oh. That's
Surveyor General.
More food?
Yeah. I'll set him up with more food. Separate, whatchamacallit, and I'll bring the third guy in.
Yep.
So basically ask the same questions to see if he corroborates.
He seems like he's been there the longest. He was for 2 years. He used to serve at when they used to actually do a good trade in chickens. But he said, over the last 2 years, basically, all the family started moving down to Colchester.
Is this the oldest one?
Yes.
Is he the oldest of the three?
Murren certainly is.
Okay. Right.
And he basically used to be a farmhand for a long time. And then what happened is, the family moved off down to Colchester to look after their properties there. And he's been helping just wind down, getting rid of the chickens, taking chickens to the Fenwick.
Who makes the Black Dragon venom?
Who makes the Black Dragon venom? Well, I learnt off Banther, and I'm kind of the...
And where's Banther from?
I must say I'm a bit of the dab hand at making it.
Where's Banther from?
Banther, he's from a pub. I'm not sure what the name of it is, but from Colchester.
The unfinished well. Was
Was
that there when you arrived?
Been there for a long time. The well, was certainly there when I got there.
Do you know anything about the rocks with the purple through them?
Oh, there's a lot of rocks like that all stacked up against the well. And then there's this man that used to come up occasionally, about once, twice a year, and talk to the master narrated about them.
And what was this man's name?
Pain?
And did he come up by himself or with others?
Sometimes came with others, sometimes on his own.
And
And Master Narradin sometimes got some of the farmers together to talk to him, and then other times they came up to Tipsy Tinker and rented one of the rooms up here. This one.
did they talk about the rocks? What was special about the rocks?
Well, it was never hanging around, but they used to be. That man sometimes brought up a little wooden box, and then he'd put drip things on, and smoke would come off them. I've seen that through the window a few times, and they take little bits off them. Mr. Payne seemed very happy about it all. So did Mr. Darrington and the other gentlemen farmers.
And how much of this rock did he actually take away?
We packed about a good number of chunks for him that he took away.
So the chunks that you packed, were they mostly purple or just a bit purple?
Yeah, well, purple.
If they were taking away, why is there still rocks left at the well?
Oh no, we just told him they just to bring rocks when they wanted rocks.